Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my initial comparison between the Adidas Trae Young 2 and the Adidas Trae Young 3. So of course, they're both Trae Young signature shoes, and obviously the Trae Young 2 is last year's model. The Trae Young 3 just released. Thankfully, they didn't increase the price. They're both $140, which is kind of expensive, especially for only a third signature shoe. Usually companies, they keep it around 120, even maybe pushing it to 130 bucks for like the first like 5-6 years of like a signature shoe line. But I guess Adidas wants the Trae Young signature shoe line to be a little bit more on the premium side of things, kinda. They're keeping, you know, I guess Damian Lillard's and Donovan Mitchell's shoes more like 100, 110, like cheaper budget shoes pricing, right? Trae Young maybe is like 140 bucks mid-tier pricing, and then obviously we have the Harden, which is like I guess premium, even though it's not super expensive. It's not like 200 bucks like LeBron's are, but still kind of expensive. Like I think it's 160 bucks, right? But anyways, if you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave a free link in the description box. But let's get started off with the Tracciones, and they switched to the traction pattern like crazy, but the Trae Young 2 traction wasn't amazing. And the Trae Young 3 traction does not feel very good on my wood floors right now. My first impressions of the Trae Young 3 traction are not good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like the Trae Young line needs to improve the traction, you know what I mean? Because the Trae Young 1 was actually pretty good, not the best on dust, but 2 was not very good, 3 not feeling too good. And also another detriment to the Trae Young 3 is the freaking durability. The durability is feeling atrocious right now. I mean, they're giving us nubs, they're giving us super thin like lines, and it just feels very, very soft and not durable, right? I'm just like feeling it right now, just bending with my finger, you know what I mean? The Trae Young 3, of course, you have way thicker lines, way harder rubber, so you should be fine playing on an outdoor court with the Trae Young 2s, but the 3, definitely not good on, on an outdoor court for durability. And even on a regular wooden floor, I don't think this would be good either, you know what I mean? That worries me a little bit. But also, let's say I don't understand about the design are the holes. Why would you put holes in a freaking outsole, especially here in the forefoot where you need contact with the ground? The more contact, the more surface area you have in contact with the ground, right, between two surfaces, the more friction you have, the more traction you have, right? So why would you do this? Why would you do that? That just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even for anything, you know? They just put holes there for no reason, you know? But anyways, the traction, you know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, they're both actually pretty damn smooth besides kind of like the slapping feature. They're both very, very flat shapes. I would say the Trae Young 2 feels a little bit better though, because it has a little bit more curve. Look at that. It has a little bit more curve. Trae Young 3, super freaking not curved, very, very flat feeling. So it feels more like a slapper. But here in the heel, they're both very, very soft. Look at that. You have a nice curved shape. Same thing here in the Trae Young 2. We have a lot of boost. You have, you know what I mean? So super soft. And then obviously the Trae Young 2 feels a little bit better because of the more curved forefoot. And then as far as the flex goes, here in the Trae Young 3, it's very, very flexible. And same thing here in the Trae Young 2. And Trae Young 2 feels a little bit more stiff, but it's still pretty damn flexible. So overall, they both feel pretty damn smooth, right? But the Trae Young 2 feels a little bit better because of the more curve, right? And now moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup, they're both very, very nice. You know what I mean? So they're both using a combination of boost and light strike. So here in the Trae Young 2, we have light strike here in the forefoot, and we have boost here in the heel. And also, you guys remember the Sock 360 knit or whatever they were calling it? And so if you look at the actual strobe board, you can see the knit material, right? And it's actually pretty damn soft. So the step and cover is actually really, really nice. You know, it's comfortable. There's a nice little compression underneath your foot here in the heel and also in the forefoot. If you look at the Trae Young 3, it's just a regular strobe board, right? But the strobe board is actually quite soft. You know, that did surprise me. They're both using really crappy paper stock Adidas insoles, you know, but underneath that, the strobe board here in the Trae Young 3, even though it looks like a regular strobe board, it's actually very, very soft, you know what I mean? So step and comfort in both the shoes, very, very nice. Court feel, they're both like around normal, maybe a little bit better than average, you know. There's a lot of compression here in the heel for both of these shoes as well. I would say the Trae Young 3 has a little bit more. It feels a little bit softer and feels like it has a little bit more compression here in the heel. However, the Trae Young 2 is still freaking nice, especially with all of this boost, you know what I mean? So the cushioning setup, it doesn't feel too different. It feels pretty damn similar. So there's that. Moving on to the materials. So like I said, we have the Sock 360 knit. It's pretty much like a prime knit material, but it does feel like there is an underlaying material for both of these shoes. And now that I think about it, my first impression of the Trae Young 2, this material felt kind of stiff, just like the Trae Young 3 feels like. But now that it's broken in, the Trae Young 2 is actually really soft. So, but the Trae Young 2 feels a little bit thinner, right? It feels a little bit thinner and also a little bit softer right now. The Trae Young 3, obviously I haven't played in these yet. It's not broken in. So it does feel a little bit, look at that. It's pretty damn stiff. It does feel like there is an underlying material. This, look at that. It's a little bit softer, you know what I mean? Hopefully the Trae Young 3 breaks in, gets just as soft as the Trae Young. It probably will, you know what I mean? But right now, the Trae Young 3 feels a little bit stiffer, right? And then we have, look at that. I don't know why why guys? Why? Remember the Trae Young 1 where it had like, what, like 2 eyelets or 3 eyelets or something? Most shoes, if you look at it, they have the lace is going down a little bit more into the toe box compared to the Trae Young where it literally stops at the midfoot. Look at that. That's freaking crazy. Same thing here in the Trae Young too. So you can't customize the fit. You can't tighten the fit here. Not even like in the forefoot. I don't know why they would do that. But either way, the Trae Young 3, you have flywire cables and the laces are only going through the flywire cable. So that does worry me on durability, you know what I mean? Because it can snap. You know what I mean? Like older models with this type of design, especially Nike shoes, it did snap. So that does worry me a little bit. The Trae Young 2, it's just going through the upper. And also we have this really stretchy, very nice knit. So it feels like a sock when you put on the Trae Young 2. It's really hard to put on at first, but once you break it in, it gets a little bit easier. The Trae Young 3, obviously we have more of a traditional tongue, right? But there is a little bit more padding, just a tiny bit more here on top, which doesn't make that big of a difference. But I mean, if they made it a little bit more padded, that would be like, okay, that makes sense, you know what I mean? You're giving an independent tongue, adding a little bit more padding, a little bit more coziness, but they didn't really add anything, you know? But here in the ankle area, I would say the Trae Young 3 has way more padding because of how freaking thick and luscious these Achilles pads are. These are freaking nice. I love how this feels, right? So it improves the comfort and also does improve the lockdown here in the heel. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the Trae Young 3 will break in pretty nicely and feel pretty similar to the Trae Young 2, but as of right now, right? As of right now, the Trae Young 2 does feel nicer because it is broken in, right? And also because of this like stretchier type of knit material. Now moving on to the fit, I went true to size for the Trae Young 2 and it fits me very well. Like it's a super duper snug fit. But for some reason, my foot like moves like this a little bit when I'm playing, like this way. You know what I mean? So that's kind of weird. I don't know why that does it. Maybe because of the laces and I don't have enough like lockdown here. I don't know. But it does move around like that, even though it does fit me pretty well. For Trae Young 3, I went up half a size. It does fit me pretty damn well too. There is a little bit of length. I feel like if I did go true to size though, it'll be very snug like the Trae Young 2. So I do like a little bit looser fit because it's still pretty damn snug, right? I went up half a size and it's still kind of snug. So if you want that, you know, if you don't want something super duper snug, then go up half a size. If you want something super snug, then go true to size for the Trae Young 3. But yeah, it is a little bit roomier as well here in the toe box, probably because I did go up half a size. But I do feel like the Trae Young 2 would still be a little bit more snug, even if I did go true to size here in the Trae Young 3. But they're both pretty nice fits. It's just the thing for the Trae Young 2 was that this shoe is freaking annoying to put on, especially at first, like for the first week, you know? But like I said, once you break it in, it does get a little bit easier to put on. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, the Trae Young 2, I was good to go, right? The lateral containment, you can see all these lateral counters here in the forefoot, the foam's coming up. Here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter as well as this plastic piece, right? And then the Trae Young 3, we do have a good amount of the foam coming up, acting as a sidewall, and we kind of have like an external TPU heel counter. So lateral containment was good for me in the Trae Young 2, and the 3 feels pretty damn good as well. Let's see which shoe is wider. They're probably around the same, right? Yeah, they're around the same. I mean, the Trae Young 3 has illusion where it does look a little bit wider, but it's because of this freaking midsole. This midsole protrudes out like crazy, and that's what we'll get into. It feels a lot bulkier, you know what I mean? But yeah, the lockdown and containment wasn't the best for me in the Trae Young 2 because, like I said, my foot was moving around this way. Like when I was doing lateral movements, my foot would come up like this and kind of squeeze to the side of this shoe a little bit, which I didn't like, you know? Hopefully that doesn't happen to me in the Trae Young 3, but we'll have to see on that. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. Which shoe do you guys think will be lighter, the Trae Young 2 or the 3? 13.55 ounces for the 2, and then the 3 is 14.15 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier because of, look at that, guys. The Trae Young 3 is actually, it goes up half a size, but that's not like a half size difference, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is bigger because of how freaking chonky this heel is, you know what I mean? I mean, the heel does protrude out a little bit here in the Trae Young 3, but it just feels bigger. It just feels bigger, it feels bulkier, it just feels a little bit more bottom heavy as well. So I don't really like that too much for the Trae Young 3. But the Trae Young 2 also did feel like a little chonky because of the boost here in the heel. But as far as responsiveness goes, the Trae Young 2 was not super responsive because the traction wasn't great. And then, like I said, my foot would move around inside of the shoe a little bit. So because of those reasons, it wasn't the most responsive for me, right? And hopefully I don't have those issues in the Trae Young 3, but like I said, it does feel a little bit bulkier. So there's that. Moving on to the aesthetics. I don't know. I feel like I like the 3 a little bit better. I especially like the design on the midsole. You know what I mean? So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, I don't know, Trae Young's line hasn't been the best. I mean, the 1 was pretty nice. The 1 was okay. The 2 and it was alright. And then the 3 is not feeling amazing. Like the traction's not feeling good. It feels like a slapper because of this flatter shape. And it does feel like overall pretty bulky as well. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't like the Adidas design language, you know what I mean? Because of, it feels bulkier, it feels heavy, they don't prioritize weight, you know what I mean? They don't really care, you know what I mean? It's like 13, all their shoes are like 13, 14 ounces, and just, I don't like the shape of the sole, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, not liking either of these shoes that much, but hopefully the Trae Young 3 is a little bit better than the 2. But we'll have to see on that. I still need to play in them. But anyways, that about concludes this initial comparison. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave them feeling in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.